Hello, good evening. Good evening. Just a little bit late today. Just everything's knocked back a little bit because we were doing different things. 1870. It's all rolled on. We've been very busy today, and we had a mad half hour where there was messages flying to every single person in the world. It felt like from James and Ped at times, and there was lots of
we were trying to outdo ourselves on who the more random person we could message was. But in the randomness of me letting James have Instagram messages, he found that some quite big Everton players had messaged us back, and no one had ever picked up the messages. But also, people messaged us back who said, "Oh, I've just found a message from you from 2018 where you asked me to come on the show. I can come on the show now."
Yeah.
So there was also that as well. It's fun and games.
I feel sorry for Marco Silva because we can't have him on now.
No, can't have him on now.
But he was keen at the time.
No, Wobie as well. We can't be having him on. But it was nice when to message us back. No, it was nice when to message back. Just a shame that it was a picture from his jet.
I like it, Wobie. It's all good.
If anyone's got any ideas for people for us to message, put them in the comments.
Yeah, we'll message anyone. Yeah. We also found ex-Everton players that were following on his Instagram, but we weren't following them.
Yeah,
which made it awkward. Made it awkward.
But we followed the back now.
Yeah, we follow. We follow.
Right, listen. Before we carry on, this is a final call for a HelloFresh deal. You're getting 50% off today. It ends at midnight.
It's a broadcast message.
It is a broadcast message. Use the code ToffeeTV50. The QR code is there as well. Just use that. You get the meal delivered straight to your door. Fully nutritious. You get all the instructions, how to make it. Everything you need is there. John Blaine has had a few of these and obviously tested a couple for us last time. He loves them, absolutely swears by them.
And John's a man of elegance.
John is a man of elegance. He's
tasted the food at the highest Michelin starred.
He has.
He knows what a good meal is.
Says it's really good. So the offer that is there now till midnight is 50% off your first box of HelloFresh, and then you get 20% off for the next 2 months. If you do that and you subscribe there, you also get free desserts. So go and do it. For life. Go and do it. For life, it says, but as long as you subscribe.
I just wonder whether, desserts just...
No.
What if you're away on holiday?
Well, maybe.
You come back and there's just, loads of milk and loads of desserts.
Wouldn't be HelloFresh then, would it? But it's HelloFresh.
No,
right
I know.
Now. So go and do it. 50%. Use the QR code.
It's on the screen.
And go and get it. Go and get it sorted. Go and get yourself.
But you got to get them tonight.
Get them by midnight. Lovely nutritional meals.
You are helping the channel.
Yeah. You're helping us, but you're also
helping yourself.
Let us help you to help yourself.
And you're releasing the desserts. At the moment, they're stuck in captivity, and ready. You can release those desserts. You can release
them and consume them. They're delicious. So go and check that out. HelloFresh. 50% off today till midnight. Toffee TV 50 is the code or the QR code. Right, we are in to the club call. I can go there. The pointers. We're all excited. We're expecting Fletch, Lives to be on, going on about getting Marino back or Ancelotti or whoever. Maybe Fletch will talk about bringing Benitez back. Who knows?
There's also talk of Emma maybe ringing up.
I hope Emma rings up. Emma.
Could be fireworks, couldn't it?
Felt like between you and her.
Could be fireworks.
Pure fireworks. Chemistry is cracking.
Have you ever seen a Goff use a mobile phone?
It's not a chant.
Just asking the question.
On our lunchtime show for Premier members, there was definitely chemistry crackling between you and Emma. So I want to know if Emma's going to ring. Call.
We need to get her end of them.
We do need to get Emma's side of the story. We've had Pedro's. We need Emma's side of the story.
I feel like it's the kind of chemistry Oppenheimer dabbled in.
I don't know. Me and James don't know because it's all, we see.
I don't even know if James gets that reference.
Certain things.
What? Exactly. There you go. What?
I'm reading stuff.
Oh, you were. Oh. Hey, I'm reading.
Nobody's
stuff.
reading. Are you Brien Labonis?
Yeah, I'm reading stuff.
I am reading stuff. What's happening?
I've got a caller.
Have we?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've heard it's gas.
Is it big gas?
I've heard it's gas.
I'm excited.
Come on,
Gaz
come on to moan about
Listen,
something.
Before we go to Gaz, make sure you subscribe. As you can see, 99,000 all the twos at the moment. Let's get that up. Come on, it's free. It takes a second. You help the channel. Come on, we're growing. We're getting bigger and bigger. want to get more guests, more shows for you. But we're not going to do that until you do your bit. We can't work harder than you do.
Respectable guests don't even look at channels under 100,000. That's all I'm saying. So until we get 100,000, we will forever be we will forever
just get more guests.
We will forever be basically that shopping channel that comes on ITV at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Belter.
That's all we'll be.
Well, you know when we talked about that on the 1878, would you present that if they asked you to do?
Peak time for me.
I've got to say, because for you, you're in your element. That's just early evening.
I think
1 o'clock to you.
I think at 1 o'clock in the morning, if you asked me to sell you a mattress, I would be all over that.
Yeah, early evening for you.
That would be tremendous.
You'd have all the housewives ringing up.
And it just, if you spill liquid on your mattress, it just wipes off.
Should you not do a better, a more,
what?
A nicer.
What? How else are you selling mattresses?
Comfortable.
Yeah, is that what people want?
Easy to put a sheet on.
Stain removal.
Okay, let's go.
For people who buy things at 1 o'clock in the morning, it's stain removal.
Okay. Let's move on. Gaz, are you there? Good evening. What you want to say, mate?
Yeah, right, boys.
It's right, Gaz. You good?
Yeah, not bad, mate, not bad.
Excellent.
Just see fucking Ped saying that I'm going to moan, because I am a little bit.
Okay. Well, Gaz, why change the habits of a lifetime, my friend?
Yeah, not about current performances or anything like that. It's just, I think people are underestimating how big the rebuild of this squad actually is. Because you're on about people going out of contracts and things like that. But what you've got to look at is not the season coming up after this one. We're hoping to be in European competition. That's our aim. Yeah, be it the Europa League or even the Conference League. We're hoping to be in the top half of the table and get into that. How many of this current team would you say can actually do that? Because I'd say Pickford, Braithwaite, and I'm struggling, and Jai, maybe. Because Garnegay, obviously, Tarkowski, but they'll be 2 years older in that time. So if you're looking like 2 years ahead, how many of this team are actually capable of challenging in European competition?
But just as you're talking, an article has just dropped on the old internet. It is written by Mark Douglas, and it says Everton all in for Liam Delap, with 15 players set to leave this summer. But there could yet be a twist in the Dominic Calvert-Lewin tail.
Of course there will. No one wants them.
And basically, it says that Everton are going balls deep, back to back, David Moyes this summer. And that's what it's going to take, isn't it? That's what it's going to take, guys. We talked about this a little bit in the last couple of days. If we go back full circle to a gentleman leaving the stadium in the semi-final in 2016, if they've got the dough they say they have, okay, PSR is an issue, but they've got to back David Moyes as much as they can, haven't they? You're absolutely right, mate. This squad, as it is right now, is not fit for purpose. We talked about this earlier as well. There's no magic wand on this squad. There's no turning most of this squad into players that are capable of being part of a European squad. Squad. You could maybe take your Garners of the world, your Dwight McNeils of the world, and put them in the squad as backup players. But for me, those kind of players will never be good enough to be part of a team that's going to get you into Europe starting every week. And we do need changes. So let's hope that these people who've come in, adding billionaires to the group, are going to do that, because there's no way around it. Everton are going to have to spend serious money over the next 2-3 years, like we've seen Villa do, like we've seen Newcastle do, like we've seen Forest do. But they've done it quite sensibly, the type of players and the money they've spent. Now, first of all,
57 players.
I was going to say, Forest went absolutely silly.
Yeah, since then, what I mean is, since then, the players that they've retained in their squad are more like 15 to 20 million pound players, aren't they? That they've built up. So Everton are going to have to do a lot of work. But I truly believe myself that these people will back David Moyes, because David Moyes has said since he's come in, literally from day one, these players aren't good enough. And that's the message that's been coming out, I think.
You know what's really mad, though, right, Gaz, is that when you look at Everton, where they are, right? And don't forget, we basically didn't play for half a season. And yet, we're not miles behind the European places. As in, because of how far it goes down in the league, which it blows my mind when I look at it. You know, Crystal Palace, look, you know, I thought they were outstanding at the weekend. They were tremendous, but they come off getting done 5 by 2 different teams.
Yeah.
Palace are a mid-table side with a couple of exciting players. Palace could be in Europe next year, so I don't think it. I get what you're saying, Gaz, and I'm not disagreeing with you, by the way, but I do think sometimes we build up this thing of what we will need to get into to do this and to do that, you know what I mean? And it doesn't always play out like that. You look at it and go, you know, Everton went and bought a couple of wide men and another striker. That could change Everton totally. And in 2 years, Everton could be comfortably in Europe.
I still don't think these players are good enough.
But that's okay. But I go through other teams and go, are they good enough? Are Palace good enough?
Palace aren't getting into Europe.
Well, I hate to tell you, but you know, if they beat City at Wembley, they're in Europe.
They're not beating City.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying to you. So,
and to be fair, I never said getting into, I said competing in.
Yeah, no, competing.
Which is a big difference.
The other thing then, Gaz, sorry, you carry on now, but come back to me when I've said this. But the other thing as well isn't the plan to build this summer and then build next summer, and therefore the year after was stronger anyway? Because that, me and you just agree, Forest bought 587 players.
They did,
but it took them, and now they've weaned out the ones they don't, and they've got themselves a nice little squad. And that's what you have to do. Villa, if you go and look at Villa, they've done exceptionally well, but they done the same. They built and then built on top of it. Newcastle got players in and then built on top of it. So I don't think, I agree with you. If people are thinking, and I don't think anyone is, to be fair, if people are thinking that Everton can rebuild this summer and all of a sudden that squad's good enough to go on, it can't be done, because you can't change that many players. I personally believe Everton will bring 9 players in this summer, but I don't think Everton will they won't bring 9 first teamers in, as in 9 new players. You know, you might get 4 or 5 who are in, you might get a couple who are squad and a couple who are development, say. But it will be something that needs to be done again the following summer as well, Gaz.
That's my point exactly. So you've agreed, because it's not just a one thing, because the summer after, Tarkovsky, Garner are going to be too old. Yeah. And they're probably 2 of our best players.
Yeah, well, Tarky,
and then
Tarky might
we've
still
got to replace them.
Yeah. Tarky might still be around, it might need, but you'd ideally like to think in 12 months' time, you know, maybe Jake O'Brien's really established himself, and therefore you've got a 24, and he becomes the Tarkovsky type, and Tarky becomes the squad defender. And that's how you've got to hope, haven't you? You know, will Jared Branthwaite still be here? Who knows? But you'd like to think you get a big pot of money in for him, and you reinvest it. That's what we have to look at, guys, don't we? It's not going to be one fix, is it? There's no way it'll be one fix.
No, but a lot of people think it is. That was my point, really. Just that a lot of people think this summer's just one rebuild, and it's not. Because you move on to the next summer and look at the ages of players and look at how many we actually need. We've literally got 2, in my opinion, 2 class players, which are Pickford and Branthwaite, who will be there in 3 years' time. And I don't
but isn't that the evolution of a squad anyway, guys? But if we do bring in players this summer, I think that's one of the things Everton have to look at, isn't it? It is over a multi-season summer period or whatever, that they have to look at it and go, if they can get the amount of players Baz has just said there, by the time next summer comes, you're just doing the same thing again, aren't you? You're bringing the next lot of people in, and it will be like a multi-year thing, but you have to plan the multi-years out, don't you? You have to plan and say, who are we going to need the following summer? Because, like you've just said, Adesina Gay, if he stays, of course, James Tarkowski, will all be get to coming to their end. So you have to plan 3. I think Kevin Felwell said this, didn't he? He said you've got to plan 3 or 4 years ahead. He said, but we haven't been able to at Everton. It's had to be hand to mouth, year by year or window by window, essentially. So you can never plan anything out. I think Everton now have to plan everything out, methodically. Summer, winter. By contracts, who we need more, quicker than anything. Everton will need centre forwards, wide men this summer, and you might ignore certain areas of the pitch because you've got them for another year. You might leave, so it will be, I hope, all planned out over the course of 3 years.
Yeah, but it's a massive starting point considering how many we need to replace straight away.
Yeah, but that comes down to what your expectations are. My expectations aren't Everton getting into Europe in the next 2 years. My expectations is just to get better and to get a stable club. I think for me, I mean, you might be different, but then my expectations is this summer we go in and buy the players we need. Like, I'll be massively disappointed and slightly worried if Everton don't get a right winger, a quality right winger this summer. Like, that's the thing we've needed for the last 3 seasons. So I think we've got to address that, and a centre forward. And then the other positions will take, might be bit by bit, mightn't he? So, I mean, what are your expectations for next season? Gone?
I'll go with John Blaine. I'd say higher than this.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd say higher than this season.
That's all you can do, isn't it?
What you've got to do, we'll probably finish on like mid-40s points. You'd like to think with them home games you've got left.
Yeah.
So next year you've got to think 50s.
Yeah.
And then move on. But I think a lot of people are thinking that our squad's better than it is. It's not. It's absolute very low level. I'd say both full-backs, all wingers apart from Inja.
Yeah, but what I would say, again, I'm not disagreeing really, guys, but what I'm saying is, if you look at what you're putting into, you look and put, 2 wide players in and another striker, and they all add goals, and you've got the defence that Everton have got now, which is quite good, really, numbers-wise, and a more mobile midfielder. If David Moyes produced what he's produced so far, over a full season, I think John Blaine worked it out. It was like he'd have got 53 or 54 points this season. If he'd have done it, it doesn't always work like that, but you know what I mean. If that was how it was extrapolated over the season, Everton would have got 53 points, I think. 53 points puts you top half, not miles away from Europe, but the top half, right? So therefore, you have to look and go, well, we'll build to the next thing. I think you can over egg Everton's players, but also I think what a lot of fans do is make them out to be worse than what they are as well. Everton's big problem is scoring goals. I've said the other day, the numbers wise, Everton have performed almost like a Champions League team defensively. But like I said the other day, the midfield area is like a mid to lower league Premier League, and the forward line is a Championship forward line return. Yeah, isn't it?
And that's where you got to. So that's where you got to target.
So if you then put better players in them areas, and you could perform very similar to what you have in the other 2 big areas of your team, then theoretically you should make a big jump again and get goals. I don't. You can never say, which is why we started talking points wise. You can never say position-wise, can you?
Yeah.
Because Carlo got 59 points, was 2 points off a European place with 59 points. And I'm sure
he should have had a lot more.
He could have, mate. Year, guys, right? Because I was reminding John of this yesterday. That year when we got 59 points with Carlo, I know it was a COVID year, and I know we won away games, but we weren't as good at home, which we would have been with crowds, so whatever. He got 59 points no matter what, right? Everton missed out on Europe by 2 points, so one more win would have put us in Europe.
Yeah.
So Sheffield United at home, we got beat and they were relegated, so that would have put us in Europe. But we played West Ham in the May, if you remember, and we beat them 1-0. Calvert-Lewin scored in the grey kit away.
Yeah.
If West Ham would have beat us that day, they were in the Champions League.
Yeah.
And they finished on 65 points. and 4th place that season got 67 points. 5 less than what we got, right? So when you look at numbers, now this year, I don't think 65's getting you Champions League. I don't know, because I can't think of what the points are at the minute. Are the high 50s right now? So maybe it will, or thereabouts, right? But what I'm saying is that year we got 59.
Villa on 57 as it is, and they're in 7th place.
Right. So, yeah, so you're probably going to need
Newcastle in 62.
62, right? So therefore, points-wise, I don't think you can always qualify, sort of go, if we get that many points, it'll put us here. Because I think what you've got to do is just look and go, well, if Everton got 45 points, say, this season, then we have to be aiming 50 plus, don't we?
Yeah.
For it to be a much
100%.
better season. Do you know what I mean? I don't think you can say, if Everton finish 8th, it's great. It will be much better, of course, but Everton could finish 8th on 47 points, and people might go, well, you only actually got 2 points more than you got last. You know what I mean? It's like it's a tricky one to work out where those points will take you. But all you can do is aim for the points, which is why Moyes used to start in spell 1. Let's get 40 points first, and then see what we can get on top of that and where that takes us. And I think that probably rings true now. Get to 40 as quickly as possible, and then see what you can clip onto that and where you'll go. But it is a rebuild. But I do think if Everton get the right players, Gaz, pacey, and add some goals, I actually think this team could perform way better.
Yeah, but where is there's
Fair
no...
enough, Gaz. I haven't convinced you,
Yeah,
like, and that's
exactly.
no problem.
No,
mate.
not at all.
Hang on.
But,
Gaz. What's the alternative? What's the alternative?
No, there's no alternative. It's building it gradually. People are thinking that it's one season away, but it's not. It's a lot longer for me. It's a gradual build.
Okay, but that's
which
okay.
I think people think we're moving into the new stadium, and Moyes has given us all a big pick up, and people think it's going to be next season. This is it. No, I don't think so. I think we've got a lot longer build than that. I think we've got 2 or 3 years, and I think that's how we need to plan it.
Gaz, you can't lose, Gaz, by the way.
Gaz,
you can't lose, though, because if Everton do what Gaz is saying, then he'd be like, well, this is what I thought. And if Everton overperformed and done well, you'd be happy. So you're in the right position.
I just want to say this to you.
I'd much rather be wrong.
No, I don't think you will be wrong, and I think that's the right way to do it. Guys, you got to look at it this way, mate. People also made songs about sausage rolls. Chris was #1 for 4 years or something. So people can't be trusted, mate. That's the way you got to think about it. People can't be trusted, so don't worry about what people think. They can't be trusted.
Okay.
Well,
there you go.
On that bombshell, I'll let you go, because
there's nowhere to go there, Gaz. There's nowhere to go, really.
Fletch is waiting here, probably saying to
Nice one, Gaz.
take over, so I'll let him
all right, Gaz.
onto it. All right.
Take care, mate. Good to speak to you.
Can't argue with logic.
You can't argue with
People
logic.
got songs about sausage rolls to #1.
Well, I also can't argue with SpongeBob, who has done a super chat that has just disappeared for a second.
Sounds like the greatest person ever.
He is the greatest person ever. There he is. SpongeBob, cheers, mate. Thank you very much on the super chat. Says, hi, chaps. Just saying hi. Big summer coming up. Backing Moyes and the owners to get it right. Gonna take numerous windows, but we will get there.
Do you know what?
Fair play. Fair play.
It takes me back to the famous words of George Harrison. It's going to take money. Whole lot of
spending money.
It's going to take patience.
It's going to take
money.
Plenty of money.
Yeah, to do it right.
Fair play.
And he knew. He knew a thing or two.
He did know a thing
George.
or two, of course. Longy D67 says, I want to buy a mattress off Ped at Bell's O'Clock.
Mate.
And I think you could do it. I think you could do it, mate.
I think it's up to them to offer me the job to sell that to you. But listen, you sound like a man who's got plenty of stains that need removing.
I don't know. We don't know that, do we? And I don't think you can say things like that. You know what I mean?
I feel like I just said that.
Danny Ellis says, Mess's the Bournemouth girl. She'd be made up to talk to Baz. He's not just the housewives' favourite.
We've always said this is the nation's sweetheart. It's the nation's sweetheart. Housewives' favourite. Female football fans' favourite now, it would seem.
But I can't sell mattresses at
But
Bell's
you can't smell. I appeal more to the disdaining gentleman who's just turned off whatever film was on Film 4+1, right, has gone on to ITV, found this fella with a big beard, looks slightly sweaty. John Barnes is in the studio rapping, and he's trying to sell you a mattress. That's my demographic. I know my place.
Done some of that, hasn't he?
I know my place, and I live in that place. I've no issues with that.
I love it.
I have no issues with that. I am that guy. It's an important role. It's an important role. I have those people giving me the eyes. You have the bored housewives giving you the eyes. It's a different thing. But you put the two together, and it's like heart to heart. That's a reference James won't get.
What have you got? Put them together. You've got housewives cleaning mattresses at 1 a.m.
Exactly, and that's another show.
There you go. Why wouldn't you? It is a New Balance top, RC. It is.
I mean,
who've we got on the phone?
Not a Toffee team.
Who've we got on the phone?
We've got Eddie next.
Eddie. I thought Fletch was on, but we've got Eddie.
We have Fletch waiting.
Is Fletch there as well?
He keeps on popping up.
He is there. Eddie, good evening. Where are you, and have you booked your Lexus yet?
Okay. Can you all hear me, first of all?
Y'all can hear you.
Yeah, go on.
Okay. So, actually, something really interesting. The soccer stadium that's sponsored here next to, like, where I live, where I play soccer at, is Toyota Field.
Yeah.
So,
Synergy.
and they have a Toyota RAV4 just sitting out there.
Oh,
so I'll talk to them and see if I can...
Just take it. I mean, don't take it.
No.
Don't just take it. Sorry. Talk to them. Get permission. Just to clarify, kids, don't just take RAV4s without permission. Sorry, Ed, carry on.
Yeah. So there I could go from the field all the way up to Chicago, and then that could be the route I could take.
Oh, absolutely.
I just need to figure out whoever the owner is and see if I can do it. But what I really wanted to talk about was I don't know if y'all were able to see the Landon Donovan, Tim Howard podcast. If you guys keep up with that.
Oh, religiously.
I've seen a clip, Ed. I've seen a clip.
So
ignore Ed.
Landon Donovan blocked me on Twitter.
Why?
Never got over it.
Why?
I have no idea. I love Landon.
Him.
I loved Landon.
Yeah, but you probably said so.
I loved Landon like he was a lover.
At 1 o'clock in the morning on QVC. Other shot and
Buy a mattress, Landon. Buy a mattress.
Hang on. You told me to calm down at lunchtime because I've been in since early. You've had...
It's warm in here.
It's warm. You've had coffee and you've gone mental with your messaging, and it's give you a new high.
With me messaging?
Haven't you? Eddie, sorry. Go on, get back to it. I seen a clip, Ed. I seen a clip. And I was very excited, the clip.
Yeah, so Jason Kidd, who's going to be part of the ownership group, was on their podcast. And I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he's a basketball player.
I know who he is.
And he's the Dallas Mavericks coach, and they met playing golf or something, and that's how they were able to get him in.
Excellent.
Which I find really interesting because last week they said that they're not trying to get any, like, what was it, like celebrity type owners, and then like literally the next week they get a celebrity owner. So I mean, I think it's a good thing because, like, if he can bring publicity, it's another person in Texas, and if it keeps growing, that would be great. But it was really interesting the way they talked about how he was able to become part of the ownership group. Like, they played golf, and then they the Freddick group just hit him up, and they're like, "Do you want to be a part owner?" And I was like, "Dang, I wish I could do that." So maybe I need to start playing golf in Houston. Yeah, I'll start playing golf in Houston, figure out what course they play at. And then we'll go from there. And then this is the last point I have is, so David Moyes has a 2-year contract, right? And after that, like, we could extend him or whatever it goes. But do you guys see him as a potential director of football? Or someone that could, after 2 years of here, if he's able to steady the ship, and if he still wants to be part of the club, to be able to move him up to just overseer of everything, and because I feel like that's kind of what he's gonna do in these next few years anyway. So I wanted your thoughts on that.
Right, I would have said a few months ago, no, at Everton. I'd seen him on the overlap. I've watched quite a few things because I think he talks really well. David Moyes, very knowledgeable. I like listening to him, so we've always liked Moisey. But now, I'm seeing what Ranieri's doing at Rome and what the plans for him are to go up and head it, and listening to him on the overlap when he said, I don't understand how clubs can sort of toss away that experience of football people. It wouldn't surprise me if, whenever this thing ends, it'd have to go well, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
He wouldn't be. I don't see a situation, Ed, where Everton do really poorly.
The recruitment would have to be really good, wouldn't it?
The recruitment would have to be good, and if he would have to voluntarily step aside, because obviously if things are going well, why would you want him to step aside? If things were going poorly and they were going to sack him, then you're not going to keep him around, are you? So things would have to flow in a nice forward momentum, and for him to go, right, it's time for me to pass on the baton to another, whoever, Leighton Baines, Seamus Coleman, Wayne, whoever it is in the future, whoever it would be, and Moyes to then step upstairs and carry it all on. And then I could see him in a role like that. I never used to think I could, and certainly the way Everton.
I feel like he's changing the parameters of what a director of football is to suit his own needs.
Possibly, yes.
So that when he does decide that he doesn't want to do it every single day and wants to pass it on to someone else, that he's tailor made the position for himself.
Yeah.
And that I could definitely see that happening. We'll have to wait and see. He's got. It sounds stupid. He's got like a couple of years to prove himself.
2 years, right?
But he's got to prove himself by being a good manager at Everton and it all working. And I know some people don't really like that and him having that amount of control at the club, but it is what it is, because he's done the job. He's given himself the I don't know. I think the Freakins don't really. I don't know if they don't understand the concept of it all, or have looked at the concept and gone, well, what's the point? It hasn't worked at your football club for 8 years, so why is this thing? Other people would like, I know if the Piver's watching this, he's screaming he's screaming at the telly, but loads of people will tell you how it's supposed to be. But I look at a lot of the different director of football models, and a lot of them don't seem to be the same thing, and you could just have people by different name doing the same jobs. The thing about it is, I truly don't know. I don't know whether it'll work. I don't know if anyone can predict if it's going to work. It all comes down to the same thing. Everything always comes down to in football, and that's recruitment. You've got to get the best. If you get good players and the manager plays them, if a director of football buys them and everyone's in sync, then it'll work if they're good players. Well, it's the same in this case. If he's got more power to bring the players in, then you're almost cutting out that middleman and giving him a different job title. So, yeah, I mean, listen, let's get the first part sorted. And if the first part's sorted and he wants to move on to be a director of football, who we to tell him he can't do that?
John Russell says if it goes well, Moyes will be here for 5 years anyway, the manager.
Yeah. But he mightn't be, though, because you've got to look at, he might look at the situation and go, why do I want to do this anymore? Am I physically capable, health-wise? Do I want to be out there every single day? Can I pass the duties on to somebody else and let them become the manager of Everton or the head coach of Everton? Someone else might be prepared to do that.
But
because they have a GM and then they have a coach.
That's what I was going to say, Eddie. You'd know more than me, but a lot of, obviously, American sports, and Alex Ferguson was like, Alex Ferguson was like this. Basically, in the end, he was like a general manager. They coached. And he'd just come on. Carlo done a lot of this at Everton.
The one thing I would say about the Freakins, though, is...
And he was doing just the tinkering.
The Freakins haven't got an American sports team, so they haven't got a point of reference anyway.
No, but...
So it's not like they've gone...
So doesn't that make Jason Kidd coming in an interesting addition? Because he...
Yeah, the Jason Kidd or the billionaire that
Mark
came in
Cuban
a couple weeks ago. Well, he mentioned him in the podcast.
He needs to bring Mark Cuban in, and if he does bring him in, then my work here is done.
What would you do if what would you be like if Mark Cuban joined the ownership group?
That's what I mean. He should do. I don't want
Mark Cuban's like really fan friendly. Like he cares more about the fans.
We should get Mark Cuban on board because that's the fella I said from the start. We should
message Mark Cuban.
I've messaged him loads of times.
Messaged everyone else.
Do you want to come on, Mark? He'd be like, "What do you want to talk about? Pharmaceuticals?
Yeah, let's talk about that."
My sister and his daughter went to the same college, so I could ask my sister.
Well, they're practically related, then, aren't they?
So basically, get your sister onto Cuban's daughter. Throw the Everton seed in there and get him on the ownership. And while you're on,
jump in a RAV4.
Get in the RAV4, but also give him our number and we'll have a chat to him and see if Peg can persuade him.
For sure. If I can somehow get that connection, I'll let y'all know.
It sounds good, Eddie. We're all in for that.
Thank you, guys.
Nice one, Eddie.
Have a good one.
See you soon. Ta-ra, pal. The James Graham said a RAV4 wrapped in Toffee TV livery, I'd buy it.
The world would buy it.
Mm-hmm.
What about a mattress wrapped in Toffee TV livery? Would that be a bit shiny on your back when you're trying to sleep?
Depends what the fabric of it is.
But the stains would just roll straight off it.
Why are we back on stain? Why are you doing this to me? It's hot. Why are you doing it? Why are you bringing stains back to me? Let's not do it. You're not on bloody...
Emma, you've got a face for devil worship. I just had to throw that in.
What?
Do you having a go at me in the comments?
Where?
Do you want to go at me?
Hakon says you're the ginger Roy Kent. I like that.
This might be true.
I like that bit of that.
This might be true.
Alex says the way the director of football role has been diluted now means there's more roles to be filled.
Not if David Moyes is filling them all.
Yeah, but it's not, is it? It's all about... It depends how it all plays out, doesn't it? We'll see. We'll obviously see. Ian Barron, who's a Darlington fan, says, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get the guys over 100,000 plus subscribers for the end of the season. They deserve it. Thank you very much, Ian. Hope you are good, mate. I feel like we've got someone with a big reputation ready to talk. I wonder if he's still celebrating because obviously Scott Parker brought his boys up last week.
This boy-old team.
They're on the in line for 100 points this weekend. Let's talk to the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend that is Burnley's Fletch.
All right, fellas, how's it going?
How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, very well, thank you. What do you want to say?
Enjoying the warm weather.
Yeah, it's lovely.
I'm looking forward to the weekend. I hope Dominic Calvert-Lewin comes back. I know Emma probably wouldn't agree with this, and she'd probably think it's a broken record. But I think the sooner the better for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, because I do still think there's a gap. There's still a place for DCL in terms of trying to perform for David Moyes, particularly. I do think that'll be interesting. And also as well, I really would like to see Alcaraz start as well.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's difficult to play Alcaraz and Decore together, but hopefully we can find a way of doing that. Maybe if that means taking James Garner out the team, maybe, I'm not too sure. But
why? Hang on, sorry, Fletch. Why do they both need to play?
Because I think Alcaraz adds a touch
No,
of
forget
dynamism.
Alcaraz. We all know why Alcaraz needs to play, but why does Decore need to play?
Because Decore, what he does is he knows how to pick the pass and to change the play. That's what it is with That's what it is with Decore. He knows how to pick a pass and to change the play, and that's what he does. He's quite slow at the moment. He's not as quick as what he usually is. But one thing Decore does know how to do is he knows how to change the press.
Oh, change the press. Sorry, I thought you said change the pass. I was going to say...
Yeah. When we're pressing high up the pitch, he knows how to pick out a pass and get into the gaps.
Okay.
Fair
All
play.
right. Okay. Personally, if I'm going to play Decore, he's deep. He's deep. He for me, he doesn't do enough in the final third. I think he's probably, if you're going to have him in, because he's gets around, he's active, gets around the pitch, nicks things and presses people well, then he's got to do that from deeper. I think when you are the way Everton are, which is goal shy, you have to have more creativity in and around whoever your centre forward may be, whether it's Beto.
I think Alcaraz offers more than Decore in that respect.
Yeah, well, he does, because he's just a better footballer. Decore is better at doing the other stuff.
I wouldn't say Alcaraz is a better footballer than Decore just yet. I think Alcaraz has got a little bit more time to tell just yet in terms of because he's a dancer.
Technically,
he's like he likes to sparkle, does Alcaraz?
No, but
whereas
technically,
Decore,
Fletch,
he's more solid.
Fletch, technically, Alcaraz is a better footballer than Decore. Right? But it doesn't mean that you will get more out of Alcaraz than Decore overall. I just mean technically he's a better footballer. Decore obviously does a lot of the other stuff that Alcaraz doesn't do as well yet, which is pressing and gets himself about. So it depends what you're looking for at the top end of the pitch.
Exactly. Yeah. I like the idea of Alcaraz coming on in the second half and adding and contributing to the game and adding a little bit more pizzazz to it as the game goes on. But I think because we're playing Ipswich, it'll be interesting for him as well, personally, I think, for him to start and him to perform as well, because Alcaraz is like a mixture of Richarlison and Rodriguez in that respect, in my opinion. I'm not sure he's there in the same calibre just yet, but he's got a lot of potential as Alcaraz.
Yeah, listen. David Moyes is obviously unsure right now about him, it seems, because he hasn't wanted... It seems like he's not wanted to trigger this obligation while he makes his mind up. There's a story today.
There's a news article out today that apparently that it's been triggered.
No, there's one today saying that, and this is from a journalist in Brazil. You'll have to watch our news daily if you want to learn more, Fletch. But sort of giving a bit of clarification on the story, basically, about what sort of Everton's point of view is on that. But you mentioned Dominic Calvert-Lewin right at the top there. Mark Douglas has put an article out today, and we know that he's well connected at Everton now, and he's saying that Everton are back in negotiations with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So you may get your wish, and Calvert-Lewin may well stay.
I hope I do, because I wish the two things with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. One, that he stays at the club and gets into the new stadium, at least brings in the debut season of the new stadium. And two, that he starts scoring. And I think David Moyes and DCL are an ideal fit, to be honest. I do think they are quite suitable for one another. I do think if DCL understands David Moyes' vision for the club and where he wants to take us, that he could get on board.
Do you believe that Dominic Calvert-Lewin can score enough goals for Everton to take us higher up the table? Because I do. Right, so just let me give you my... Hang on, Fletch, just pause one sec.
Yeah.
I've defended Dom for years on here with people who've called him a championship striker and all that, right? That's nonsense. He's a very, very good footballer, right? But he's been
easily walk into Arsenal's number 9.
I don't think he could walk into I think he could be an Arsenal squad as a sub. I don't think he's good enough to be their striker, right? Because it's, again, ultimately it'll all come down to putting the ball in the back of the net. Right now, Dominic Calvert-Lewin's record shows he's diminishing returns. It's getting worse every year. It's not getting better, right? However, if Everton go and get another centre forward who's going to be, just say it's Liam Delap, because that story's out as well today, right? So just let's
I'm intrigued by that.
Well, let's just say, for simplicity's sake, Everton sign Liam Delap. They convince him to come, and he comes in as the number 1 striker, if you like, and goes in there. Then I'm quite comfortable with Dom being our number 2. Quite comfortable and battling it out with Delap. I've said this to Ped a few times and on air. I want to see a situation where I don't know which one of the 3 strikers is starting, but I'm confident in all of them.
I don't think we should start Chimiti. I think Chimiti is... I just think he's not relevant to the club anymore. I don't think he ever has been. I think he's...
Chimiti?
I think he's...
Hang on, Fletch. Chimiti, or do you mean Brozier? or Beto?
No, Chimity. I'm on about Chimity. I think Broger's quite lazy and he's not fit enough. But Chimity, I don't think he's contributed to the club in terms of on the field performances. I think he's up there with Beto's form at the moment.
Beto's our top scorer, from
he's
the centre forward perspective.
But Beto's not scored. But in terms of form, in terms of the consistency, they've not between them. They've not had much bang for your buck.
And Dom either. So the three of them, in fact, all of them, Fletch.
I think Dom has a lot more stature than the two, though.
Yeah, but he doesn't score goals. Beto's got double the goals he's got in half the games.
I understand that, but we were playing for Sean Dyson. I think a lot of injuries to do with Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Well, what about? All right. Well, what would you say?
Played a part in that.
What would you say to? Because Chimity's dad's just texted me here saying he's been injured all season. And he's not played, and when he was appearing under Sean Dyche...
I don't rate him, I don't rate him at all.
How can you say that, though? Because you've not really seen him, have you? None of us
have. But what I have seen is he's like he's not as good as forgive me. He's not as good as Beto, and in terms of being in the box and being in the right place at the right time, his control of the ball is worse than Beto as well.
Ped, I've got to bring you in here. So, come on. Chimity's touch is worse than Beto's.
No, my touch is better than Beto's. I don't think we've seen enough of him, Fletch, yet to make
His
that.
minutes add up, Fletch, to 2 games.
I just don't think we've made that. I just don't think we've seen enough of him to make any. I think he might need some time on loan, maybe. Yeah. If Evan can do the deals that he can do. But let's see. And I haven't written him off by any stretch of the imagination because I just don't think he's played enough football. No. I don't think you can write him off yet. But is he ready to step in?
Seriously improve. Because it could be argued that he's part of the Deadwood and the charity approach. The charity approach from Everton is we leave Deadwood like that in the squad for too long, and it often becomes contagious to the players as well, particularly the new players that we're trying to bring in. We need to be more ruthless in terms of.
Fletch, I always let people finish try to, but just let me stop you before you carry on because I want you to carry on what you're saying. But I personally don't think you could put Chimity in a Deadwood statement. The lad's game time adds up to 183 minutes in an Everton shirt, which is 2 games. 2 games. So I don't. If you can look at someone,
the Deadwood category.
Who would they put?
I said, following that logic, it could be put in the Deadwool category. If he's only had 183 minutes, then and we're paying him God knows how much a week, then
what about
that to me says to me he's diminishing returns.
You said to me about Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Oh well, he's been injured. Well, Chimity's only been back for about 3 games this season.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin has proved himself already in an Everton shirt. Fair enough, it was a long time ago now during the COVID season under Carlo. But he has proved what can be done with the right pair of hands as manager. And with Dominic Calvert-Lewin,
what I would
he's
say,
captured the mind as well, Dominic.
Okay. I'll have to respectfully disagree with you on Chimity, Fletcher. I've got no issue with you saying someone like Beto, you don't think he's good. No problem with that, mate. Beto's played a lot of games. I think Beto's...
The jury's still out, basically.
Yeah, listen, Beto's just a squad striker. I love him because he wants to do really well for Everton. I think he gives everything every time he plays. We can debate whether he's good enough. I personally think we need an upgrade on all of our strikers because the numbers aren't there. But I think with Yusuf Chimity, if Yusuf Chimity was an under-21 striker playing in the 21s and had scored goals, you'd be banging a drum for him to be given a chance. Doesn't matter that we bought him. He's 21 in May, and he's basically
this season. Young, isn't he?
Yeah, this season's been a write-off for him. I agree. Go and put him on loan. Get him on loan and let him play games of football and let him develop and see whether or not he can develop into be a footballer that we value and is really important as part of our squad. I just don't think we've seen anywhere near enough. And with the best will in the world coming on. Listen, I wasn't impressed with him on Saturday when he come on. His touch was all right at times, and other times he thought he had 3 hours. Yeah, but then the other times, he come on against West Ham earlier in the season. Him and Brozier come on and changed the game. And he nearly scored. Their keeper's made a great save at the end. So there's been little flashes of him. He's not been fit enough, and therefore he's lost a year of his football development. So me personally, I'd love him to become this Everton striker. I think he's got a lot of good attributes about him, but we don't know. It's the reality.
Only time will tell.
Exactly. He needs to play.
Just briefly as well.
Go ahead, mate.
Sorry, just briefly as well. So, I've mentioned Dominic Calvert-Lewin starting as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I've mentioned Alcaraz, and we're finding the position for both Alcaraz and Decore in the same side.
Yeah.
I just wanted to comment as well about O'Brien, at centre back. I think he played well the other day against Chelsea. He was unfortunate with the goal because I think everybody was blindsided with Beto and what happened there. But I do think that him and Branthwaite just need to spend more quality time together, just in terms of learning how each other work. Sorry.
He said go for a meal.
Not necessarily go for a meal, but in training, they just need to train more. If that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. But like in terms of in training, they just need to learn. Like because Tarkowski and Branthwaite, they go together like hand in glove. They get each other. They get each other's shortcomings. They know how to operate around one another. And I know it was only his first game in the role, but hopefully he can adapt into that role as quickly as possible because it is his natural position. Don't forget. And with Peterson playing at right back, I definitely think we should start Peterson at right back again.
Patterson, you mean? Sorry,
yeah, Patterson. Sorry, I apologise.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay.
I do think we should start Patterson at right back, just so we can sort of build a new formation in defence in that respect while Tarkowski's out injured, because there is a lot of potential in that back line. I think Mykolenko's been a little bit short. He's fell short a couple of times recently, but overall his skill and his quality is good. It's just whether or not he has enough stature and he's solid enough in the role. And hopefully it'll be 3 points for us against Ipswich on Saturday.
Fingers crossed, mate, because that's what we need. We need
hopefully,
a victory.
Mate, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Cheers, Fletch.
Right, Fletch, great call, mate. Take it easy. Go and enjoy that sun.
Yeah.
See you soon. See you, pal. Ta-ra, mate. I'll be honest, I think at times Fletcher's been sat in the sun a little bit because Decore is able to.
Does he live in Barbados? Because it's all year round.
Anyone else waiting, James?
Yeah. Got James waiting.
James? Okay. Or is it James? Did you message him before? You messaged everyone else. Okay. James, good evening.
You said you didn't speak English.
Hello, lads. How are we? Be all right?
Yeah, we're good. Thank you, mate. What do you want to say?
Good. I was just thinking the other day, I was thinking about how Everton's first two new stadiums are both built in communities. And obviously we're moving away from a community area, even though it's only a mile or so further down the road. I didn't know for Goodison Park if they should do a plan where they make a football school academy type thing where kids can go after school and stuff like that to keep something like that in the community.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I don't know what they're going to do with we obviously saw all the plans and it was going to be a mental health thing and there was lots of plans of where Goodison was. But of course, what's happened lately, James, it seems as though that it's being earmarked for Everton's women's team now. So therefore, I just wonder if that could be used as a community project as well as the women's. You know what I mean? I don't know whether Everton would ever consider getting. It's the rules with like the 4G and stuff for the women's league. You're not allowed to have that. Do you think?
Don't think so.
Because I was just thinking, like, a community resource, like you're saying there, it'd be an interesting one, that if they could use that as well as like a dual thing. So obviously you have to make sure it's right for the women when they play their WSL games, but also because you're keeping that open, I wonder if there's a way that they could do. I mean, the pitches are that good nowadays that you could have stuff on it most weeks anyway and it wouldn't damage it really. What about that, like as used as a community thing as well? It's a really good point, isn't it? We were at Anfield in that, and then we went to Goodison, and obviously we're moving.
I mean, obviously Everton are staying in the area because the school's staying and the hub's staying and the basis, blue base is staying. So Everton are staying in the area, so it's not like we're coming out completely. But I don't know. I think it's difficult with the ground because it's such a. I don't know. What could you do? You couldn't just allow. I get the point, because the point could be if you did have like a 4G pitch, you could maybe have kids teams playing on and stuff like that. Well,
and sit out and stuff.
You know. Again, I think there's going to be like an emotional attachment to what people believe will happen with the Everton stage, with Goodison, with Everton teams playing on it, whether the women's playing on it and stuff. There'll be an emotional attachment to what people believe should be happening there. It just depends what kind of sort of resources you put into it. I suppose with the park end, you could have, you could use the executive, maybe, the lounges and stuff. Maybe you could do stuff with them to get kids in and stuff, different workshops and stuff like that. But it's a good point. It's just how you do it. I mean, I suppose Everton have some of the houses on Goodison Road have been used for different things, like where the Heart is, like offices and stuff. Could those offices be moved into, like, say, the park end, and you change the park end up so it's actually got offers in which help the community, which help the charity, which help different sides of it, that are currently in a couple of those houses that are on Goodison Road, which Everton own. It's just depending on what you're going to do with it, but it does seem like Everton women will be moving to the ground. It seems like they're going to make the attendances the lowest capacity 7,500. I think they're going to look. That's what they look. That's what I'm being told anyway. So Everton moving into Goodison would be an easy thing they can do. But it's just, I don't know. I've just got visions of loads of kids running around Goodison Park getting lost in the Bullens, and no one wants that. No one wants that. No. So I mean, have you got any thoughts or details, James, of what you'd like to see happen with that, or is it just an idea that was floating around?
Yeah, no thought. Just because I was walking to the match and I just noticed how the stadiums were built around communities. So I thought, even though we're a mile or it's not much further down the road, it might be an idea where you could get kids in, they're all in that area, and it might draw maybe more future talent, stuff like that as well. And also keeping that community Everton vibe thing going. And you see now with what the governments do, there's no place for kids to go after school these days. Is they just thought a community area that Everton do? They could have Everton people there. I know it might come at a cost, but long term it might be something worthwhile if you do find a couple of gems, and they could future help in the first team or moving them on, such a thing.
I think, to be honest, that's a bigger thing that that needs to be addressed within the city, of things that people can do within the club to try and get more kids to come and play for Everton and play in the academy. And I don't honestly believe it should be something that's restricted to L4. I think it's something that should be the whole city should be looked at. I don't think Everton, personally, I don't believe either club do enough in the city. I know Everton in the community, I don't know whether they still do it. I've not really heard too much, but they used to go into certain places in the city and put on free football clinics. Don't really hear about that too much anymore. I think Everton Liverpool should be building football pitches or cages all over the city. I think they should be fostering kids to play football like we used to play football. Now, the kids can't play footy in the streets anymore. The nearest thing is like the cages, the what they call the muggers, which is what most people end up moving on to afterwards. But that's what they should be doing for me. So I don't think it should come down to that. I think Everton Liverpool, and it should be both clubs really, should be working hard, tirelessly to put some of that money back into it. They've recently built one, well, a couple of years now, not far from where I live, and it disappoints me that there's never really that many kids playing in it. We should be fostering a fact that kids should be able to go and play football on their own in a place where people, parents or whoever, can keep a loose eye on them and sort of know where they are. And foster that spirit that we used to all have as kids. I mean, I don't know if everyone listening had this, but certainly me and Baz, we learned to play football, playing football in the streets. You know,
the streets won't forget.
The streets, but they'll never forget because of all the windows we broke.
Yeah.
But that's where we learned how to play football, and you get your own sort of, you create your own code, don't you? When you're playing those things, of course, you know, you play footy, and it's, you know, you learn the disappointments of being the first knocked out in doubles, and then you learn the other side, like refereeing your own little games. You know, there's so many like life things that can be learned from these things. Get a bit deep now, of just playing footy, and it keeps kids playing footy. Number one, they're exercising. Number two, the parents will generally know where they are, and if they're not there, then they're doing something else somewhere else. And parents, you know, there's an opportunity there. So I think that's something that should be happening all over the city. I can understand your point. I just think the stadium just seems like I mean, I'll be honest, if Everton have got this big shiny new stadium, I wouldn't be impressed by someone taking me to the old one. I must admit, I want them to take me to the new one. Hey, listen, there's an opportunity there. Everton could set up temporary little footy pitches on the Fan Plaza and inviting kids down to come and play on that 2 or 3 times a week. Why not? What else is it getting used for? Open the gates and say you could play in these pitches in the Fan Plaza, organised by the club, free clinics by Everton in the community. Come down and get a bit of free coaching and playing football. You know, come down and you're playing in the shadow of this mad big new ground that you may never have even been to a football ground because of economical challenges or whatever it else. Why not do something like that?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely look into something like that.
Yeah, definitely. I just think it's a city-wide thing, mate. I think we and Baz have both said this for ages. Everton and Liverpool do not put enough back into this city in terms of just looking at kids and saying, what can we do for you? You could be our next set of supporters. I seen the Forest owner last week handed out something like 1,000 Forest shirts to kids within Nottingham to secure them as fans. I've seen Atalanta do a thing at every new baby that's born in that city. They give a shirt to. You know, and I know that's not something that can be done here. That, you know, because obviously of both clubs, but both clubs should be doing so much more to I think to help kids in this city.
Development, come future players,
absolutely,
fortunes, but also do the good back for the community. Absolutely, James.
Nice one, James.
Nice one, mate. Good call. Really good call. So up the Toffees.
Nice one, mate.
James.
Nice
Enjoy,
one.
mate. See you later.
See you in a bit. Bye for now.
Ta-ra, mate. Ta-ra.
Listen, I've got depth. I've got no limitations. 1 minute I could be selling you a mattress. The next minute I'm hosting Children in Need. There's no issues. That's the depth that I have. You know, we can't all be going on Gary Neville's programmes getting eyed up by supporters of other clubs. And I mean male and female in that. Some of us have to hone our talents in other directions. And if that's me and Lenny Henry, you know, smashing it at 12 o'clock at night to try and get you a mattress and some money in for charity, that's what we're going to do. And then after that, we'll go to the Premier Inn and sample those mattresses in separate rooms, of course. But listen, if he wants to get a single bed, you know, in my room with me, then we'll do that as well. Why not? Lenny's a good guy.
Why wouldn't you? Let's have a look at a couple of these comments. If we gone, Gary says, hello. Mark Cochran says, let's give Chimitty a start and see if he's ready to step up. Jake says, all right, lads, realistically, Everton should try and get Dom to stay on conditions that suit us. They want rid of Beto. Chimitty needs a loan. Brozy goes back. Therefore, we'd be left without a centre forward. Get him tied down and then get another option.
It always, I mean, not being funny, if you read that report, it's they're coming back to us. So you imagine it will be on our terms, no matter what. So, yeah, be interesting.
Brien,
I was just going to say, there's also another report that's come out in the last hour as well, saying Everton considering moves for Shrewsbury Hall, Gustavo Hammer, Dan Neil, and Wilfred and Diddy. It's not as legitimate as the other one, but
of course. Brian Garside says, "Hi lads, 32 of the maddest Swedish Toffies are over for Saturday. Third visit for the season. Newcastle draw, Bournemouth FA Cup. Oh God, yeah, you better go out with a win, Brian. Better go out with a win. But enjoy, Brian. Enjoy."
Paul Murray, I'd be brilliant on Newsnight. I'd be brilliant. But RC, why would I be doing wrestling impressions on Children in Need?
Maybe for like a charity.
I don't think that's
like
where my
comic.
I don't know if that's my strong suit.
Okay. Kev Maloney says, "Does Everton or football teams in general employ a skills coach? The striking of the ball on corners and certain players just making passes in general is shocking. Every other sport have analysis of body dynamics. Tuck an elbow here or fix your feet position there."
I'd like to think that was all part of like the coaching, but also the analysts would have a big part in that as well. Of like, if they recognise, I'll be honest, I imagine in the next few years, and I listen, it could be something that's already in, but I imagine there's already programs being developed with AI for such things, because that kind of thing of like, I know that's I imagine that's big in sports where there's like, say, cricket or baseball, where there's a golf will be the number one, wouldn't it? When you strike a golf ball, you have to do it in a certain way to get that, to obviously. So I know there's already stuff in golf, and I imagine baseball, cricket, that kind of thing. But football, you imagine it'd be the same as well, because funny enough, Landon Donovan on his podcast the other day, someone Tim out saying the amount of times Beckham practiced his free kicks and how it was always, he said he didn't always go in, but most of the time he did. But it was just repeat, but it's getting that initial way of doing it, isn't it? And getting that muscle memory. You know, I've seen someone else talking about penalties on a video. I think it was Brien and Boomer saying about like, he just repeats penalties, taking penalties in a non-pressurized situation. And he said you can practice penalties and you should practice penalties, and that's all it is, isn't it? It's just repeat muscle memory. So the day it happens and you walk up to that ball, or you're taking a corner or whatever, it's that you're not just throwing it in, you're doing something that you've done every day. And so you'd like to think professional footballers get to a stage in their career where, well, they're getting helped in every stage, aren't they? But you imagine by the time they like get to 18 and 19, a lot of that stuff should really be down, shouldn't it? You should already have that technical ability. You shouldn't be getting to the highest level without that technical ability, I'd imagine.
Ian the Blue says, "The problem is the scouting and recruitment team have been really poor, and paraphrasing, for years. That needs to change soon." A couple of comments about Fletch. Martin says, "Talk about safe standing today. Could the club not have it in the lower north also? We'll give an extra couple of thousand. See it."
I don't think this.
No, I don't think the
don't think the steepness is there to have it. So. It doesn't go back far enough.
Josh says, "Why is there a Burnley fan on Club Call?" Glenn Walker says it. Glenn Watson says they should definitely go out for a meal together. Tarkovsky. No, sorry, Branthwaite, no Brien, shouldn't he?
Definitely, yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
RC, are you trying to get us to say something there? Because that comment almost feels like it's leading us to say something. "I need a bit of advice, lads. What garden tool is best to get rid of vines in the garden? Loads of them growing on the roof." I feel like that's something like a loaded question where he just wants us to say something.
A scythe.
A scythe?
Yeah.
Isn't that what, like, Death has?
Yeah, but I feel like we shouldn't give him the answer he wants.
Well, I think I've just given me. I think you give it to me and I've repeated it.
What?
What? We are live, you know. There you go. It's definitely not Sutcliffe's hammer, though.
Danny Bryan says Don won't stay for anything less than 150 grand a week.
That's not true. That's not true. Because he ain't getting 150 off anybody, is he?
I don't think so, but who knows? I honestly don't know. Paul Murray says, he's a YouTube member, says, "I thought you were going to say we were in for Wilfred Nonto then when you said, did he? Wilfred." What a surprise. You know what's going to happen, don't you, in the summer? Glasgow Rangers make a move for Wilfred Gnonto.
He's coming up into the Premier League.
I know, but
I know what you're saying.
Big KT loves him, funny
does.
Loves him. Daniel, but I mean, I don't know whether that's the advice you should be giving out, Daniel.
Fireworks.
No, get on the roof with a lawnmower. I don't think he should be doing that. Feels dangerous.
Like I don't think he's got the extension cord for it.
No, it feels dangerous. It feels dangerous.
Just a bit of petrol and a lighter.
No, no. Again, that feels dangerous.
To who?
To the house, as well as RC.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
We'll put James will put time codes in the thing for when Fletch rung up.
Oh, just for people to listen. Make some good comments, yeah. Yeah. Chris Roberts, a YouTube member, says, have you read the Guardian article on the stadium saying stadiums don't raise the economy in the area?
No. I know it got posted off our Twitter account yesterday.
But the aggregators.
But that's a lot. That's for you to all read it and go, oh, you silly man. Listen, that area will is a dead zone, isn't it? It's a literal dead zone. It has got there's not a way. Parking a hot dog van in that road would raise the economy. Well, it wouldn't, because actually you go to Costco. An ice cream van would raise the economy of that area because there's nothing there. There is one pub that is open and the other pub's open like at night. There is nothing. So of course, put a stadium and then a stadium leading to bars and then bars and hotels and then more bars staying open will of course raise. And then on the middle bit is going to be houses and a new park. And that's all based on Everton Football Club moving there. It has. If you plonk the ground into an area that already had stuff in it, then maybe it doesn't raise it. But Everton are going to be the catalyst of that whole area, and that could lead to an arena. It could lead to the train station getting improved, and an improved railway station might mean a company goes, oh well, now there's great access down to that area. We're going to bring this new call centre or this new whatever down there because we can get people get into work so much easier, you know. So you can look at 99 things. Doesn't mean Everton being the 100th one.
But the economy ain't one.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, you know what I mean. So I think the fella who wrote that, or the lady, is silly Billy.
Movie Worm says Moyes likes Harrison apparently.
Yeah, it's in that piece.
Is it? Basically
saying who's going to stay and who's going to go. It's not a very scientific piece though. It's more like. Moyes likes him, so he might stay. So it's not very scientific.
Is that Mark's piece?
Yeah.
Everton aren't keeping him. Unless Lee's just go, do you want to loan him again? We don't want him. I think he might.
Is it like a coffee thing? If we loan him for 3 years, do we get him for the rest of the contract?
I don't know. I think he'll want to go to MLS.
No, what he'll want is to stay at Everton.
No, I know.
Let's get it right.
If he's not going to stay here. Leeds will want money for a monkey. They want him off the books.
RC says Donut Man from Queen Square. What do you think of like buying donuts off those donut men?
It's the donut men in Queen.
You know what I mean, don't you? Just in general.
Like a vendor. Like
you know, like fresh donuts. Still, number one, they always have that weird smell, I think. But like... You know, they do the batter and all, and then they drop it in the hot oil.
Yeah.
It's not so I don't need a fresh donut.
No.
I can go into a shop with a bakery and buy them straight away.
What's this one? What? I had to go from Jack Harrison to fresh donuts.
It's hot.
Sorry. Is this your first day on the job?
Yeah, I suppose.
This says more about you.
I zoned out for a second.
This says more about you.
I don't want a fresh donut.
Yeah, he was there. I could see him like down his face sort of thing. He must have thought, what?
Hang
on.
I don't
want Jack Harrison and 90 grand a week to
someone asks a question.
Oh.
And I'm not being funny. You've got to treat every question the same.
Yeah.
And, you know, they've asked about
Fresh donuts.
Fresh donuts.
It's not for me.
I could just go into Marks and Spencer's and buy, a bag of 6 for £1 or whatever
It's
it
quite
is.
posh.
Mate, I'm not being funny. By ours, you've drove past it, there's a Marks and there's a Lidl next
Emma
to it.
says Little Bakery all day.
Oh, Lidl Bakery every Friday. I go in and buy £15 worth on a Friday.
Donuts?
Of donuts and...
Not just donuts.
Why £15?
It's because it always goes to £15. But if you go after 7 o'clock, it's happy hour in Lidl. After 7 o'clock,
Happy hour?
the bakery becomes happy hour. But
Have they still got stuff at 7 o'clock?
it's nice, don't mate?
No, I'm not denying the validity of it. I'm saying,
This
A,
is what
how have they
elevates.
still got stuff after 7? And B,
Happy hour?
why is it happy hour?
And the mad thing is, happy hour lasts for 3 hours.
Wow.
Right? But this is what elevates Lidl above Aldi. Is they've got a bakery and the gear's nice. Okay. And I always go in a Friday afternoon and I get the pastries and the...
So why are you going before happy hour? It's literally round the
I go
corner
from
from
here.
your house. Yeah, but it's round. Oh no, that's Aldi. Sorry, it's Aldi, Mark.
I go on the way home from here.
You go to Big Piece.
But also, no, because he's moved to Kenny. But also, if you've got the Lidl app, there's also a little thing where you can get some discounts on it, and then you just do the little beep at the end.
So
Yeah.
what do you get? Donuts?
Donuts and the breakfast for the weekend. It's on Monday now.
What's the breakfast?
Croissants and stuff. And
Oh,
yeah, you get all. Sunday I go a little bit heavier because I normally have a long run, so I can eat a couple more and it's all good. Do you know what I mean?
okay.
And then you add a few more bits to it. A couple of donuts here, maybe a pretzel.
You had the brownies.
Brownies are beautiful, beautiful. Honestly, the little bakery.
Emma says Chelsea buns, and she's done
Chelsea
half
buns
size.
are good. Chelsea buns are good. They have different stuff sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, Halloween, they have special stuff.
Don't they have them
Christmas,
other things that are like donuts? What are they called?
cronuts.
No.
That's a real thing.
Is it?
Cronut.
Yeah.
It's part croissant, part donut.
Oh, for God's sake.
That just sounds
That's a
racist.
disgrace.
That just sounds
That is
racist
a
against the French.
disgrace. It's a... Oh, what are they like? They're not... Yeah, anyway, yeah.
Celtic Vape says Baz showing his gated community lifestyle again with Lidl.
What?
Lidl, Bob the Blue.
Hang on.
Lidl has an app.
Hang on a sec.
Get all
I
discounts.
am not a Lidlist. I've got nothing against Lidl. Lidl's sound. I'm just
Hey.
saying. I was thinking Lidl was Aldi by Marks. It's Aldi.
No.
I've got nothing against Lidl. Lidl is sound. Lidl's
In
sound.
that area, the
the
city-
one in Preston, actually, the bakery's massive there. It's unbelievable.
In the city as ours, I think the main gangster in it lives in your gated community.
Just as in.
No, he literally lives in a gated community.
He doesn't I don't live in the gated community.
Yeah,
Ergo, he doesn't live in mine.
See that?
Emma says not keto, but tasty. AF.
AF, yeah.
There you go.
Little Bakery's the one.
Yeah.
It still turns me on. You can go to Lidl.
You can
again.
have the hole again
Yeah.
in the donuts. Fair
Very
play.
much so. And other things.
Fair play. Right, are we done? I feel like we're getting
Jam donut or sugar donut?
jam. If I'm gonna have, I don't eat loads of donuts. I don't eat loads of donuts, but if I had, Yeah. I will try a Everton one when I
Yeah.
eventually get into the stadium.
Toffee donuts.
Toffee Yum Yums, Rob.
That's it. I couldn't think what it was called. Well in, Rob.
They are beautiful,
That
my
was
friend.
what it was called.
They are beautiful. I always get 2 of them.
Rob's the man.
I always get 2.
Rob is the man.
I feel sometimes they slack on the toffee though. I feel like someone on a Friday's gone, I can't be arsed today, and he doesn't inject enough toffee into it. And that's one of my big rules in life. Inject as much in toffee into things as you can. What's wrong with him?
I think I've been in here for too long.
Me and James.
been a long
We're
day.
overheating. It's been a long day, hasn't it, lad?
Yeah.
We're overheating.
stepped outside
Yam
for a minute.
yams, as someone else has
You
said.
just stepped outside for 5 minutes.
I
Yam
went to
yams.
co-op before.
You what?
I went to co-op.
Yeah, you went for a walk to co-op.
Yeah, I need to go outside. I think I've.
Custard donuts, John. Beautiful. Beautiful. James Keto is basically a diet for lazy people who just don't want to exercise, essentially. Isn't it, though? You know.
I think keto's
You know.
a good diet.
It's for lazy
I
people.
don't think it is.
It's for lazy people.
don't
But
think
all diets are for lazy people. Just get on an exercise bike. Lazy asses.
Walk.
Go for a walk then. You got to do a lot of walking. But go for a walk. Get your steps up. Keto, it's one of these things, isn't it? It's like probably the name of a band in the 70s or something. Saw the Ketos, lad. They played the Pilgrim pub. They were boss. Get yourself out there. Last night, 28 degrees. I've done 6K. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. Went in a big fat donut.
On that note, I reckon we just leave it there.
Some SB said keto is Beto's cousin.
I don't know what's
tremendous.
I don't know.
Tremendous.
Don't know.
We've just got to that stage of the night where we're going.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Rob the Belfast Toffee said, yeah, Ped, but the cream is unbelievable. And I don't even know what that's a reference to. All I know is that he loves the 1975s.
Emma said, and she's right, good job, Annabelle never called in. It's too hot in there as it is. I don't know whether we could have handled Annabelle's smooth, silky voice tonight in the sheet. Yeah.
Annabelle telling us about ketos.
Ketos,
that's a different thing. That's a different thing. Saturday night, that in town. Get on the keto, lad.
On that note, we're going. I'm choosing to end this now. Thank you, everybody who's phoned in.
Sir Christoph can't even say that, mate. Get us banned.
Yeah. Like, subscribe, do all that. See you tomorrow.